Motorcycle riding is a uniquely fun experience that'll make any journey on the road much more thrilling. But before you invest any time or money into this hobby, it's important to understand that motorcycle riding, as exhilarating as it is just as dangerous. In this tutorial, we'll be going over basic motorcycle functions and operations, as well as any precautions a rider can and should take to mitigate any possible injuries. But first, let's get started with a broad but quick introduction to motorcycles as a whole. Motorcycles come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes, which affects their power outputs, aerodynamics, and how they handle in certain conditions. These days, there's about 5 main types of motorcycles you'll be seeing on the streets: standard, cruiser, adventure, sport, and touring. These 2 bikes beside me are good examples of hybrids. This blue one here is a Yamaha Super Tenere, which is an adventure touring bike. This red one is a Yamaha FJR, which is a sport touring bike. Both bikes are made for long distance riding, but they have their own qualities that make them quite unique. For example, an adventure bike like this Tenere here are typically higher off the ground, with the rider in a more neutral, upright position like this. These are generally for if the pavement ends on a road, you can still keep going a ways on some dirt or gravel, and have a little forgiving room for if anything kicks up. Sport bikes, like the FJR here, are generally lower to the ground, with the rider in a more forward-leaning position like this. These are better suited for smooth roads and are known for very explosive accelerations. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be using the Tenere here as our model. It houses a 2-cylinder 1200cc engine. While it's not impossible for a total beginner to learn on a larger, more powerful bike like this one, it's generally advised that you would start on a smaller engine in the 150 to 400cc range, just to prevent it from blowing out underneath you. Another good rule of thumb is that if you're sitting on a stationary bike for about 3 minutes and you start to feel discomfort, you may want to consider riding something else. The last thing you want when you're riding is a Charlie horse in your leg, and I say that from experience. Assuming you've found a bike that you're comfortable with, let's get started on figuring out how to get that thing moving. There's 2 key bites of knowledge that'll make learning how to ride a motorcycle much simpler, and that's how to balance a bicycle and how to operate a manual transmission. With these things in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at this motorcycle's dash. To the untrained eye, this may look like a lot, but it's really not. Let's start with identifying the parts of the dashboard up front. On this display, we can see the speedometer, tachometer, odometer, fuel gauge, clock, and other light indicators. While the layout will vary, these things are usually present on all motorcycles. The keyhole is usually between the dashboard and handlebars. On the left handlebar, we have buttons and switches for turn signals and high beam lights, and of course, the clutch. Remember, already knowing manual transmission will really come in handy. Down by the left foot peg, you'll see the actual gear shifter and the side kickstand. On the right side of the bike, we have the on-off switch, or kill switch, which needs to be in the on position for the engine to start. It will immediately shut off the engine when flipped to the off position. Right beneath it is the actual ignition button. This side is also where you'll find the throttle for accelerating and the front wheel brake to stop. To slow down the rear wheel, you'll find the brake down here in front of the right foot peg. Now that we've got all our major control parts identified, let's turn that key and go through the motions on this stationary bike. Remember, have that ignition switch on and make sure you're in neutral before you press the ignition. Now that the bike is on and you're ready to ride, pull in the clutch and hit the gear shifter with the front of your left foot. To enter first gear, press it down. As you gently release the clutch, you'll pass a small point called the friction zone, which is where the engine bites into the gears to get the rear wheel turning. When in the friction zone, apply a small amount of throttle to get moving. Too much or too little will kill the bike and you'll have to restart the engine. Assuming you've got the bike rolling and want to go into second gear or higher, simply pull the shifter up. This is called upshifting. To downshift, you pull in the clutch and press the shifter down with your foot and release. Same but opposite to upshifting. After you gain some speed and wish to come to a stop, press on the rear wheel brake down by your right foot first. Then almost simultaneously, apply the handbrake for the front wheel. This handbrake makes up 70% of your stopping power.
but slamming only the handbrake is not a comfortable or controlled way to stop. When you come to a complete stop, shift down to first. If you are parking and stopping the bike, once you shift back down to first, gently nudge the shifter up to go back into neutral, and lean the bike on its side stand.
Of course, there's actually no better way to learn than getting out there and doing it yourself. And now that you know what you'll be looking at once you actually climb onto a motorcycle, you should be able to get it moving yourself. But now's a good time to pivot over to another crucial aspect of rider safety, and that's through your riding attire. When you go to a motorcycle safety course, they're going to tell you that the absolute bare minimum attire that you need to ride safely is long-legged pants, long-sleeve shirt or jacket, laceless boots with ankle protection, gloves, and of course, a helmet with eye protection. The key phrase here is bare minimum. I would not want this to be my only attire if I were going anything above 20-25 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more sturdy and dependable riding gear for higher speeds and different conditions.
When looking for a good riding jacket, you'll want something that protects your elbows, shoulders, chest, and your back. This jacket I've been wearing is missing chest armor since it's made to be lighter weight for hotter days, hence why it's mostly comprised of a breathable but durable mesh. Other jackets are well insulated to protect the rider from cold weather, while also having crucial padding to cover your vulnerables. Finally, we have a sturdy Kevlar mesh. A jacket like this can survive multiple slides thanks to its chainmail-like design and stronger materials overall. You'll want similar protection from your pants as well. Riding pants like these guard your shins, knees, upper thigh, and your hammies in the back too. For helmets, I always wore a full shell, but they make variants that flip up the face similar to the faceless 3/4 shell. Those gloves I showed earlier, those were just regular mittens. Actual riding gloves like this are made of hardier leather, but if you want full protection, you'll opt for something that guards your knuckles and can protect you from serious road rash.
Those boots that I showcased earlier, those were pretty good boots. My only advice for those is just wear some higher socks so you don't get blisters. Now that you know how to get your bike moving and how to dress for the occasion, I'd say that you have a pretty decent foundation to build your riding career on. But before you hit the road, don't forget to consult your local state's motorcycle operation manuals to learn the rules of the roads and any riding etiquette. With all that being said, I wish you safe travels.